You have been depicted as a racist by the protesters and others. How do you respond to that?
I would say that this is a false narrative done by people that are trying to confuse fact with their own opinion. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm not a racist.
Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke speaking out after nearly 4 years of silence.
I'm extremely nervous, petrified at the fact that I may be going to prison for the rest of my life or enact, that I was trained to do by the Chicago Police Department.
There's a sense of dread.
Huge.
Van Dyke worked in some of Chicago's toughest neighborhoods for nearly 15 years. He says he saw a lot of good in those communities and a lot of bad.
Despair, hopelessness. I mean, you'd see neighborhoods, there's blocks that are just empty, not even empty homes, bulldozed. You see child neglect, children beaten. You see people die from gunshot wounds. I mean, you'd see people die in front of you.
Van Dyke says he had several encounters with people holding guns or knives, but used his training in de-escalation rather than force.
I never had to fire my gun at an individual, an offender. I never wanted to. Nobody wants to fire their gun.
But on October 20th, 2014, Van Dyke fired his gun 16 times, killing Laquan McDonald and sparking a firestorm of protests when the video was released a year later. Van Dyke says he went home that night in a daze, collapsed in the shower, but couldn't tell his wife what happened.
You'd just taken a person's life. How did you deal with that?
That's what I mean. That's taking a person's life is not something I take lightly at all. It's very conflicting with religious beliefs. I never would have done this if I didn't think my life or somebody else's life was in danger.
Is there anything you'd like to say to Laquan McDonald's family?
I pray every day.
It's on your mind?
Yes. It's never going to leave my mind.
16 shots and a cover-up!
Van Dyke says he hears the protesters that gather at the criminal courthouse at every court hearing.
Do you understand why the protesters are there?
I understand, and they have a right to protest.
But Van Dyke believes some of that anger is misdirected. He says his family has received death threats, and his 12 and 16-year-old daughters have been targeted at school.
It's impacted them socially, it's impacted their friends, it's impacted their schoolwork. My oldest one has had notes left on desks saying 16 shots. She's been ridiculed because of it.
Do you think politics played any role in the decision to prosecute you?
Yeah, I strongly believe that politics has been heavily involved with this since the beginning. I would like the jury to know the facts of the situation that happened. And I would like them to make a decision based on the evidence and not based on opinion.